basically going from around in a circle twice and then going one time across the crown and then going up and down. And yeah, as you can see the braid pattern, it doesn't have to be really neat. You just want to make sure it's going to lay flat. Then you want to go ahead and sew that first track along that first braid that's at the bottom. And you want to go through the whole braid and the whole track without interfering with the wefts, which will keep it from shedding a lot. And you don't want to sew the cap with the track at the bottom. You're going to use that more so in the front, which will protect the hair style and let it last longer without interfering with the hairline or affecting the edges so much. So now you want to go about 2 or 3 times at the bottom, and then you want to come up and start at the crown. And you want to tie a few knots just to lock in the end. And what I'm doing is looping the thread around the needle a few times and then pulling it through, which creates the knot. And you want to keep the hair taut against the hair, and that way you can be able to tug it to make sure that the hair is reinforced. Now you just want to keep going across, and you can also use the holes that's on the hairnet to fill in the gaps where there is no braid. So as you can see with the thread, I kind of go around and I pull the needle. I have to do a separate video showing that, but I kind of pull the needle and the thread inside of the previous thread, which causes another seal. If you can look along that braid, you can see where the thread is looping within each other, which causes more reinforcement. It helps the hairstyle last longer. Sorry you can't see the side. This is my first tutorial using someone else, but I am sewing it exactly the same way that I did the other side. Just going along that next braid and filling in using the hairnet where there is no hair, where the gaps in between the braids. And you kind of want to guide it along, use both hands and kind of direct the hair and where you want to go. If I was making a wig, I would pin those 2 tracks with the hairpin to the base, which will allow my hair to stay in place exactly where I want it. Sometimes you do have to lift up the track to make sure that the tracks are not too far from the braid previously. I've had occasions where I laid the track down and I thought it was okay, and then turn around and next thing you know, I forgot a whole braid. So you want to lift up to kind of see your progress and make sure that it's close enough to the track underneath without being too close together. And when you get to the edges, you do want to reinforce it and go a few times to lock in. I did cut it so I can see exactly where I need to stop sewing. And the little gap in the front will allow the hairstyle to last much longer, being that if it was sewn on only to the natural braid, as soon as the new growth started coming in, then the hairline, the little fuzzy wuzzies, I call them, would be showing. So now I'm gonna start, this is probably my last time going from side to side. What happens if you go too close to the top and begin your circle later on, then you will not have a smoother base when you want to do your around the world to finish off the hairstyle. So I kind of leave enough hair to go around, and then I also put smaller tracks near the back to guide me towards the front. And the hair that I am using is Premium Now in a 10 and a 12-inch hair. Now I'm just doing the same thing, and I'm going to turn so you can see it. Sometimes I like to tell people what I'm doing and tell them to turn their head, but sometimes it's just so much easier just to nod their head a little. I've had only 1 or 2 occasions where somebody actually said something in regards to me turning their head. Now you have the finished product, and you can see the closure, which I can make a video for if requested. It actually keeps going around and around until completed. Now this is how I part the hair off to cut the bang, and she did one a long bang. And now you have the completed hairstyle. The bang is a little more jagged, and once the hairstyle gets a little older, the bang does straighten out and get shorter, so I always cut it a little bit longer than I actually needed. So voila. I thought she's used to getting big hairstyles, so I thought adding a little bit of color would give her some pizzazz. Thank God for the hair client who left the little piece behind. All right, now it's time for the finished style. Now you see the front. Hey, Danny. The side. It was just a basic sewing, something simple, something to carry you over. You get drab sometimes if all your hairstyles are giving the most. So this is a nice, natural looking hairstyle that she can wear for about 2 months. I wouldn't say it's good to wash your hair at least once a month. But thank you for watching and